Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Joanna and I do reviews and recommendations about affordable and luxury fragrances in my channel. Now, if that sounds appealing to you, then please do keep watching and consider subscribing. Last month, I reviewed some Arabiyat Prestige perfumes and I asked you guys if you would like me to do a top 10 from the brand. And most of you said, yes, you would love to hear a top 10. So here I am. As you saw in the title, I will be doing my top 10 recommendations from Arabiyat Prestige. If you watch my channel, you know that I love Arabiyat Prestige as a brand. I own quite a few from them. So I would say the 10 that I'm recommending today are their real bangers, okay? And yeah, having said that, it's going to be an exciting one. So let's jump in. By the way, I have reviewed all of these fragrances already in my channel. I think there's only three perfumes here that I haven't reviewed yet, but you will hear me talking about them in a while. On the 10th spot is Nayel Her Majesty. I think this is one of the first Arabiyat Prestige that I have ever tried, and I am very impressed with this fragrance. Yes, the bottle is giving lion head vibes. Guys, by the way, the bottle is heavy, okay? Now, let's talk about the scent. I have reviewed this in the past. This is inspired by Yves Saint Laurent's Black Opium, and I will say that it's pretty much spot on minus the cloying side, and I'm talking about Black Opium OG. To me, this is less cloying because the coffee and patchouli are a bit dialed down. To me, this is mainly pear, vanilla, coffee, orange blossom, and patchouli scent that is quite nice. I love the fact that it's not too heavy because I find Black Opium quite heavy. Like, I never owned it, mainly because where I used to live, every women were wearing Black Opium in the club. So, having said that, even though the scent is nice, I never really had that feeling of buying a bottle because I feel like everyone's using it. But guys, in my opinion, this smells nice. Coffee and patchouli are a bit dialed down in this fragrance. The orange blossom is not cloying as well, and that is something coming from someone who is not a big fan of orange blossom in perfumes. I find this fragrance very well done. If you are looking for an affordable version of Black Opium by Yves Saint Laurent, I highly recommend you Nayel Her Majesty. This fragrance lasts the whole day, I would say more than 8 hours. And when it comes to projection, this definitely is above average. Let's say strong projection for the first 2 hours until it becomes moderate. Yeah. Once again, that is Nayel Her Majesty, a beautiful pear, orange blossom, coffee, and patchouli scent. On the ninth spot is Malikat Al Hub. I have reviewed it in the past as well, and this fragrance is white floral. However, I like it. This is basically inspired by Giorgio Armani's My Way, and it's basically spot on. I will say very heavy in bubblegum tuberose, and it's beautiful. I would say that this is like 95 to 98% similar to Giorgio Armani's My Way. So if you enjoy that bubblegum tuberose of My Way together with the jasmine and violet, you will definitely love Malikat Al Hub. This fragrance has a creamy sandalwood and peaches in the base that makes it very likable. Even me, who's not really into floral scents, love this fragrance, okay? And yes, you heard me, it's a love, not a like, because there's something about how this fragrance is done. It is not cloying, not indolic vibes, just an easy to wear, pretty floral scent. If you love My Way by Giorgio Armani, you will like Malikat Al Hub. When it comes to longevity and projection, guys, this one lasts more than 8 hours. It stays forever on clothes, So, having said that, amazing performance. That's why it's in today's top 10. And yeah, highly recommend it if you love feminine white floral scents. On the eighth spot is Bedour Extrait, and this fragrance is mainly orange blossom. It's a fluffy one. So can you guess which fragrance it is inspired of? This is very similar to Parfums de Marly's Oriana. And I will say that it is pretty much spot on. I even prefer this version because it lasts and it projects. I think I had three or four dupes of Oriana in my collection, and I have decluttered all of them. I only kept Bedour Extrait because I find this one very soothing for my liking. It has a sweet, fluffy cotton candy texture along with that candied orange blossom that to me smells very feminine and sophisticated. Love the scent. I have reviewed this in the past, so if you would like to hear more, just check my description box below because I will link there the Arabiyat Prestige video that I made about 10 or 15 Arabiyat perfumes. Anyway, guys, I highly recommend this if until now you're still looking for a good dupe of Ariana. And of course, if the sound of candied orange blossom and sweet cotton candy sounds appealing to you. Once again, Bedour Extrait, I find this fragrance feminine leaning. Right, on the seventh spot is Lychee Musk. And if you watch my channel, you know already how much I love this fragrance. I even describe it as the best juicy and fresh lychee scent that I have in my collection. This will definitely remind you of Kayali's Eden Sparkling Lychee. However, there's something about Lychee Musk that just smells fresher and juicier. The lychee in here stays the entire wear. If you love the sound of fresh and juicy lychee and apple with like clean and sweet musk and vanilla in the base, I highly recommend you checking out Lychee Musk. This is a fun and quite juvenile fragrance. However, I really enjoy wearing this one. Yeah, once again, Lychee Musk, I get around 4 to 6 hours longevity with a moderate to soft projection. On the sixth spot is Mahd Al Dahab, and this is one of their newest releases. Actually, in this collection, I have four and I have reviewed them all as well. I'm gonna link my review in the description box as well if you want to know more. Basically, Mahd Al Dahab is a peppery, spicy, dark, unisex, boozy scent that I love as well. This is a sexy date night scent, and I'm just vibing with this fragrance. If you love, for example, Initia's Narcotic Delight or French Avenue's Exotic Flowers, you will definitely love Mahid Al Dahab. This is definitely giving dark chocolate and boozy vibes with some freshness in it. Okay, so it is not that heavy. I would say this is sexy, yet still perfect for day and nighttime. And I find this fragrance very unisex, and yeah, I just love how it smells like. This is inspired by Born to Stand Out's Drunk Lover. So if you've tried that one and you love it, however, you don't have the budget and you don't want to spend that amount of money, I highly recommend you checking out Mahid Al Dahab. This is definitely a gorgeous, boozy, peppery, unisex scent that I think a lot of unisex perfume lovers will like. When it comes to longevity and projection, I will say that this lasted me around 6 to 8 hours with strong to moderate projection. So, yes, that's why it's included in today's top 10, guys. Highly recommend it, especially if you think we have the same taste. Mahd Al Dahab. On the fifth spot is another unisex scent. However, this one is leaning more on the masculine side. Hypnotic Oud. Now, guys, this is one of my favorite scents on my man because I love how sexy and smoky it is. I'm not normally into smoky scents. However, I love how the smokiness is done in here. This is definitely sexy. I find the saffron and cloves quite heavy in the opening, and then as it dries down, the smokiness of the wood is peeking through, and I just love it. Definitely one of my favorite winter perfumes for men. I really enjoy it on him, and he loves it as well. This is definitely giving By the Fireplace by Maison Margiela. However, I find this one better. I have described this before as the luxury version of By the Fireplace, and also like a masculine version. If you're a guy and if you enjoy saffron and smoky woods in your fragrances, I highly recommend you Hypnotic Oud. As mentioned, it is smoky and woody. However, it has that caramel note that is contrasting it to give this fragrance like just a touch of sweetness for you just not to smell like a burned wood. I won't wear it though because I find it too masculine for my liking. However, I can imagine a woman who enjoys saffron and smoky scents to rock this fragrance. Longevity and projection, guys, this lasts the whole day with above average projection. Highly recommend. Hypnotic Oud on the fifth spot. All right, on the fourth spot is something that I haven't reviewed yet in my channel, Aariz. This is how the bottle looks like. This is a freshy scent that is very, very similar to Sospiro's Vibrato and Goldfield and Bank's Ingenuous Ginger. Yeah, definitely citrusy, zesty, and fresh scent that is unisex, perfect for spring and summertime. The citruses and the ginger are very well balanced in here, and as it dries down, it is mainly ginger and woods to my nose. The citrusy factor are only in the background. Such a refreshing, easy to wear kind of scent. In my opinion, very, very close as well to Al Haramain's Junoon Oud. So, if you love that citrusy, zesty, woody scent, you will definitely love Aris as well. This comes in the fourth spot because aside from the beautiful, heavy bottle, performance on this fragrance is outstanding as well. Definitely above average. It's unisex. You can definitely share it with your men. Highly recommend if you are looking for a good unisex summer scent that won't break the bank. Once again, this is Aris. Next up is once again from the Aariz collection. And now this is called Aariz L'absolu. And now this fragrance is very feminine in my opinion because it is sweet, very almondy, however, not nutty. Okay, the kind of almond in here is sweet almond, almost like a marzipan. It has sweet vanilla, tonka, and sandalwood in the base. A very beautiful almond scent, in my opinion. This is actually inspired by BDK's Velvet Tonka, which I am not a very big fan of. There's something about that fragrance that turns a bit weird on me. However, I don't get it with Aariz L'absolu. This fragrance has a beautiful, sweet almond plus kind of like a cherry nuance with a base of a sweet and comforting tonka, vanilla, and sandalwood. I love this fragrance. I don't know why this is more wearable to me than BDK's Velvet Tonka. This to me is actually like the extra version of Velvet Tonka because it is that strong. I wore it 2 days ago, and guys, I could smell it the whole day on me. Such a beautiful, sweet almond and tonka scent that I think a lot of you will love. Let's say if you're looking for an affordable version of BDK's Velvet Tonka, check out Aariz L'absolu. I would say this is 93% similar. Highly recommend, above average performance as well. And yeah, just love this one. I will say this is a unisex scent. However, because of the sweetness, it is leaning more feminine. Once again, on the third spot, Aariz L'absolu. On the second spot is Aariz Intense. This is the last in the Aariz collection. And guys, what can I say? This is a beautiful, wearable, spicy, boozy vanilla scent that I really, really like. Let's just say that this is very similar to Killian's Angel Share. However, to me, this is like a very wearable version of Angel Share. Why did I say that? It's because I find Aris Intense to be lighter and airier. Um, Even though it is boozy, it is just perfect for daily wear. The spices in here are not overpowering. The spicy factor is mainly in the opening, actually. As it dries down, this is mainly vanilla, tonka, and amber scent with some booziness. If you love Cambra, you will definitely like this fragrance. It is not as strong as Cambra though. I will say this is more wearable and likable. Hence, I put it on the second spot because to me, I can easily wear this daytime, nighttime, summer, spring, fall, and winter. And yeah, having said that, I highly recommend you checking out Aariz Intense, especially if you are into spicy, boozy, and vanilla scent. Longevity and projection with this one, I will say, is moderate. It is not as long lasting as the other two from the Aariz collection. However, to me, it's perfect because this is something for daily wear. Yeah, once again, that is Aariz Intense on the second spot. All right, and last but not the least is something that I will wear any time of the day as well. And this is called Nyla Suede. And if you watch my channel, you know that I recently raved about Nyla Suede because it is my coconut dream of a scent. Basically, if you're like me and you enjoy creamy and cocooning coconut, sandalwood, and cashmere scents, you will definitely love Nyla Suede. This has a leather note in the base that to me is non-detectable at all. To me, this is mainly creamy coconut, sandalwood, cashmere with drizzle of caramel. Absolutely divine. If you watch my channel, you know how much I love creamy coconut and sandalwood scents. So this to me is a winner. Such an easy wear for me because I love creamy coconut. And I will say, if you think we have the same taste, you will definitely love Nyla Suede as well. There's a lot of new coconut releases from the Middle Eastern market. And I will say, in my opinion, this is the best amongst all the coconut releases out there. If you've tried this fragrance, I want to know your thought about it as well. I don't think this is inspired by any scent because it doesn't really remind me of something. I just find it a bit weird because even though the suede word is part of the name of this fragrance, I don't get any suede or leather vibes from this fragrance. This is just a creamy and cocooning sandalwood, coconut, and cashmere combo that to me is to die for. Longevity and projection, I will say, is very good. 6 to 8 hours, moderate projection. Once again, Nyla Suede, and I find this fragrance feminine leaning. That is the video for today, guys. Those are my top 10 from Arabiyat Prestige. Let me know if you've tried any of these fragrances or if you want to try any of them. Then I will be very curious to know. I will say that Arabiyat Prestige as a brand is quite underrated because they really have such good quality. I highly recommend the brand, guys. And yeah, once again, thank you so much for watching. And if you want to know more, my top 10 from other Middle Eastern brands, I'm going to pop them on the screen so you can binge watch it. Once again, thank you so much for watching, guys, and see you on my next one. Bye.